Hi, I'm Shannon, and welcome to my channel. I'm so excited for today's topic. We are going to get into the Chanel Les Exclusifs line. Now, I'm going to give you all the details on Chanel flights. These are limited edition. They are in the Chanel boutique, and I'm going to share some of my favorite from the Les Exclusifs line. So let's go. Let's start out with something special that's happening in the Chanel boutiques. This is an exclusive for the boutiques only, and that is a Chanel flight of perfumes. They offer 535 ml, and it comes in this cute little box. So if you slide this out, you have this adorable, they call it a coffret or something, which is like kind of weird, but they provide these option of 5. Now, in the city that I'm in, I did go into the Chanel boutique and they had already sold out of quite a few. So if you're hearing this or watching this video and this at all interests you, I would give your local boutique a call. I would put them on hold and at least find out what they have in stock. So the cool thing about this is you can kind of sample and get to know some of the fragrances a little bit more, and you're not buying a full bottle. We know that this line is quite expensive, so it's a great way to test out and find some of your favorites. So I'm going to share the 5 that I picked up, and I'll also share a few that I liked enough that I went straight ahead and did full bottles of. So let's get into it. This is the 35 ml bottle size, and it actually has the same lovely magnetic cap that the larger bottles have. And this is Sycomore. So Sycomore was the first Les Exclusifs that I actually smelled. And I don't know that I fully understood it or wrapped my head around it the first time. This is such a refreshing, earthy vetiver scent. That's truly what it is. And I think it really stands apart because it has this juniper and cypress. It has spices in here. So it also has that Chanel DNA. It's got some violet leaf. It's got some aldehydes in here. So there is a freshness about this perfume. And I'm going to go ahead and spray this and just take a little sniff just because it's so amazing. Yeah, it's so interesting. You definitely, throughout the Les Exclusifs line, maintain the Chanel DNA. So you're getting a freshness and kind of an aldehydic point of view on a scent profile that's typically very dark and earthy. This is so fresh. I really feel like this is like walking into a forest in a very refined, sophisticated Chanel type of way. I absolutely love this one. The reason I didn't go straight to full bottle and I actually kind of picked it up with this special that they had in the boutique is there are other scents that smell a lot like this. Encre Noir is one, and there's a few others. I wouldn't put Fat Electrician necessarily in the same category, but you can kind of get that vetiver-centric scent elsewhere. I don't think it's done as well, so this is really special. I'm so happy to have this. I'm going to guess that once this is gone, this is probably going to be full bottle worthy. But in the meantime, I am very much going to enjoy this little adorable 35 ml bottle. This next perfume really sold me on Chanel fresh, clean aldehydes because I was kind of on the fence. I've never really been a Chanel girl. I've never been really into that profile. I like the Eau Fraiche, I like Eau Tendre, but those are really not super aldehydic Chanel scents. So the one I'm talking about is 1957, and this was launched, let me check the launch date. Looks like, okay, 2019. I knew this was a newer one. Again, adorable little bottle. I actually have timeout, like timeout. I actually have I think this is a 75 ml, and I got the little one as well. I wanted a purse. I wanted a purse size. But 1957 is the most gorgeous, fresh, floral, just uplifting scent. It smells like sunshine in a bottle to me. This is a scent that I will not get sick of. I actually am kicking myself for just getting the 75 ml because this is going to be in my collection forever. I think it's absolutely classic. I think it's a scent profile that, again, you will not get sick of. It's so clean and fresh, and it is that Chanel, aldehydic kind of profile, but there's something about it. They've really put a modern spin on this, and I'm like, I don't know. There's notes in here that round it out. There's white musk, there's orris, and some cashmere. And so I feel like the Chanel just kind of punchy aldehydes don't go too far on this. I think it's stunning. It's very feminine, and I don't even lean typically toward very overly feminine scents, but I'm kind of playing a little bit more in that category, and I highly recommend checking it out. The next fragrance I'm testing out, and I'm not sure about this one. The first time I smelled it, I had a decant and I was really underwhelmed actually. And I'm talking about Comete from the Les Exclusifs line. Now, Comete is an aldehydic cherry blossom kind of centered scent. This is much lighter on the aldehydes. So let me go ahead and spray this. I picked this up because I wanted to play around with it a little bit more. This is just the 35 ml. I didn't feel like out the gate it was necessarily full bottle worthy for me. So I'm going to spray this. Here we go. Yeah, so I'm definitely getting fresh, very fresh, heavy cherry blossom. I get that clean Chanel edge here. And it's sweet. It's very sweet. There's something about it. And I took my sample because I knew I had this 35 ml, and I took my sample and I really went heavy handed with it. And I felt like it was a little bit, for my taste, maybe a little bit too sweet and overwhelming. So maybe for me, this is just, maybe if I go lightly here, I can sort of tolerate it a little bit more, but I'm not at this point wowed by Comete. I do think it's pretty. I'm happy to have this size and, like I said, play around with it. But right now, not my favorite. It is a newer one. It's been spoken about a lot recently. So I'm happy to play around with it, but I'm still kind of on the fence when it comes to Comete. One of the things I try to do in my fragrance journey and exploration is challenge myself. And when I went into the Chanel boutique and was looking through with this amazing salesperson, his name was Kevin, he was helping me pick some out. And I said, you know what? I will take a bottle. I'll take a mini of Le Lion because, number one, I know that this is viewed as a phenomenal, just absolutely iconic perfume. And I've had 2 decants of this. And full disclosure, the first decant I had was not formally labeled, and I got it. I sprayed it on, and I was like, I think I got a bad decant. I was like, I think I got a bad sample. So I went back, I found a legitimate Chanel labeled, I got the real thing. And I was like, oh no, that's the scent. So Le Lion, and yes, I am going to spray this, even though I know it's gonna probably overpower everything that comes after it. But Le Lion is labdanum. It's a citrus forward, smoky, sort of like punchy. It comes out very punchy to me. Very intense, very strong. I think I sprayed one spray on there. Very, very different than everything else that I'm talking about today. I will say, I have never smelled anything like Le Lion. I wore this the other day and I really wanted to just fully experience it and wrap my head around it. And I did find that there's something really unique, really interesting about it that keeps me wanting to go back and smell it. And it's really funny because a lot of times the perfumes that I end up really loving long term are those ones that give me a very different experience, and they're complex. And I feel like that with Le Lion. I feel like this is actually every single time that I wear this, It's growing on me more and more. This is an extremely unisex, very warm, smoky, like definitely animalic, definitely very like deep and intense, and it's really really neat. So I'm excited to have this small size. I probably would not have sprung for a full size bottle. Honestly, I think this will probably last me forever because you only need like 1 or 2 sprays of that. And it's definitely, at least for me, would not be an everyday perfume, but I'm really happy to have this nice little size to play around with. And like I said, challenge myself. I would love to see also how this smells on my partner. I think maybe on a man too, with that smoky kind of resinous undertone, very balsamic. It would probably smell really good. So that was Le Leon. Moving right along, next up I have Beige by Chanel. And I know beige was Coco Mademoiselle, was her favorite color, and I'm like, I did pick out a neutral on purpose today, but I tend to I tend to wear a lot of neutrals anyway. So I'm not gonna lie, by the time I got to the Chanel store, they were sold out of a lot of these, so beige was still there, and I'm not mad about it. I'm happy to test it out, so I'm just gonna spray this. Now, beige is essentially a honeyed floral. It's a sweet floral perfume. Let me just give this a smell to kind of refresh myself. Yeah, it's extremely feminine. It's very pretty. It's light. And when I say light, I don't mean it's like soft and demure. I mean it's more of just like a uncomplicated. It feels uncomplicated to me. I see this as something that I like it, but it doesn't feel very like modern to me. Maybe it's timeless in a way just because it's Chanel, but there's definitely something about it that it's like all I can smell is Le Leon now. I'm like, where did that sample go? I need to chuck it. Yeah, very pretty, but to me, it's not really exciting. I'm happy to have this. I think I will wear it. I think it's for me more of a spring scent, but it's really pretty. Just nothing that's kind of mind blowing for me. So that was Beige by Les Exclusifs. I did a bad thing, but it turned out to be a good thing because I did blind buy. Yes, I blind bought a Chanel perfume. Really smart. I did blind buy La Pausa. Now, La Pausa has been spoken about a lot recently. It's been getting a lot of attention for being sort of the iris perfume. And I had to know, and I could not find a sample anywhere. So this was before I went into the store. So let me just spray this. And I hate to even waste this on the strip. It's so beautiful. Yeah, it's absolutely stunning. Wow, I love this so much. So I just wore this, and I'm already working my way through this bottle. It's such a gorgeous Chanel fresh take on iris. So I get all these different textures in this perfume. I get the dryness of the iris. I get that dry, dusty, lipsticky iris, but I also get the buttery, kind of warm iris, but there's all this backdrop of being fresh, being Chanel at the same time, and it's absolutely stunning. It's so pretty. I mean, my only gripe with this one is that because it's an iris perfume, it's not particularly strong or long lasting. So I did find myself kind of going back throughout the day to retouch, and I felt like it didn't last super long. So I do wish I actually would have gotten the bigger bottle because I feel like I will probably work my way through this pretty quickly. I will just comment too that I have had to work my way up to liking iris perfumes. And so not being an iris all out lover and being obsessed with that, this is really gorgeous. So even if you're not an iris lover, I think you might like this. So just give it a try. I wouldn't recommend to blind buy it, even though it was successful for me. So that was La Pausa. I mentioned this next perfume on my 2025 video, I believe, where I talked about a perfume that I was really excited to wear this year and one that was kind of a newer love for me. And I'm talking about Coromandel. And Coromandel is such a special, unique take on patchouli. It's bright and uplifting. It's absolutely beautiful. Let me just smell this. Oh my gosh, I could do that with most of these perfumes. I just could sit here and just spray myself and have a great day and enjoy myself. So Coromandel has this citrus, it has this brightness in the patchouli. It's clean, but it still has this sweetness to it. There's white chocolate in here. It's super addictive. And again, for being someone kind of newer to exploring different scent profiles, I think this is a great patchouli to just kind of experiment with. It's clean, it's fresh. Again, it's got that sweetness. So I highly recommend Coromandel. There's nothing like it. It's an absolute standout. And this one for me lasts plenty long. I'm really happy with the performance, and this is Coromandel. When I went into the Chanel store to pick out the minis, I was kind of experimenting and trying some different scents. And the sales associate there was saying that one of his favorite scents is Jersey. And that hadn't really been on my radar. So I tried it out, and he sprayed it like, he gave me a sample. I sprayed it on my hand, and I was like, yeah, that's nice. Jersey's like a vanilla lavender kind of scent profile. And I definitely got lavender up top, but and I was spraying and trying different stuff. And then when I picked out my things, I left, I went home, and in the car, I went back, and I'm actually going to spray it on my hand right now because I ended up with full-size bottle because I fell in love with it. Let's see. There we go. I ended up with this because I fell in love with it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is why he likes us so much. So just to spray on my hand, I do get lavender up top, and I was like, yeah, I smelled lavender before. That's really nice. But the amazing thing, I'm letting this air out for a second. Oh my goodness, that's so good. So I love that fresh blast of lavender, but the thing that's so special and so good about this one is the dry down. So the dry down of this is like this somewhat sort of powdery, cozy lavender with aldehydes. There's got to be aldehydes in here. I'm just assuming there's aldehydes. Okay, it doesn't say that. But I get this freshness from the perfume. For me, it's the texture of the perfume. It's the dry down of this that's so cozy. A lavender that can be kind of powdery and still manages to be feminine, because that's typically kind of a male. It's a scent that's used a lot in men's cologne. Yeah, this just dries down to be a very comforting, cozy lavender. And I went with the larger size because I was like, this is one that I'm going to want to wear all the time. I'm going to want to wear it to bed, or if I just want to pick me up, or I just want something that's comforting. This is absolutely a scent that I'm going to pull for. And when I say that it's a feminine lavender, all of these, I would say, aside from honestly, Beige, Comete seems a little bit feminine leaning to me, but a lot of these are very unisex. But I've fallen very much in love with this whole line. I think it's incredible. I've pretty much at this point sampled everything in the collection, and I don't have anything else that's on my wish list. So that means if I didn't speak about it today, I'm probably not looking to get a full bottle of it. More recently, I've just been leaning toward exploring some of the classic perfumery, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm really loving it. This new exploration of the Chanel Les Exclusifs line has been so incredible. I found so many phenomenal scents, and I hope this review was helpful of some of my favorites that I picked up. I hope, fingers crossed, that maybe you can get into your local boutique and get that flight. It's a great offering. I know it's limited right now and they may release it again, but if you can do that, I highly suggest it. It's a great way to sample and really experience some of those really phenomenal scents. Thank you so much for being here today. If you like the content, please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you back for another video soon.